want to share something I hear from a lot of women, or rather, a pattern I see. As a therapist and a coach who has a front row seat to the lives of many, as well as someone who attempted to help nurses with burnout, I've noticed a very clear pattern, and it's not good for business. This pattern is that most women, especially moms, and I'm not picking on you, but this is where I see it, struggle to prioritize themselves, to put themselves first. If this is you, you may have a priority list that sounds like this: everyone else's needs, everyone else's wants, your needs, your wants, maybe someday. Ring any bells? If this is you, there's no judgment. Society has trained women to do this. In the words of author Soraya Kamali, who wrote Rage Becomes Her, The Power of Women's Anger, we women have had the caring mandate placed upon us from a very young age. Like we're supposed to care for everyone before ourselves, even random strangers we bump into. And that doesn't mean we have to keep living this way. Because the problem is, when you put yourself last, you also put your business last, both in the sense that you are the light of your business, but also that working on your business means dedicating time to do something that you care about and value. And I get it. Sometimes, like maybe after the birth of a baby, you may need to take off work or work at a slower pace. And at the same time, I have witnessed many female entrepreneurs struggle to do things for their business because they are so busy and overwhelmed with and exhausted by caring for everyone else. Not a great long-term business model for sure. And if this is you. I feel you. I feel the exhaustion and even the struggle of prioritizing yourself. I call myself a recovering caretaker because I used to do this. I used to put everyone else before myself. And while I get why I did that, it didn't work. It just left me feeling burned out, exhausted, and eventually really, really angry and resentful. And I remember the shifts I had to make to do something different. And the thing is, as a therapist, I spent years and years trying to convince other women to set and maintain boundaries, teaching them how, teaching them to delegate tasks at home too, and to have frank conversations with loved ones about the inequity in their relationships. And yes, all of this is important, but it didn't work, at least not long term. I would teach all these amazing skills. I mean, amazing, these skills, and maybe they would use them for a while, but then they would revert back, sometimes even just within a couple weeks. And it wasn't until recently that I put it all together as to why. It's because many women, moms especially, have limiting beliefs that keep them coming back to continuing to put themselves last. They have internalized societal messages to believe it has to be this way. Not to mention most men's weaponized incompetence, emotional immaturity, wounded masculine behaviors, and internalized patriarchy. That's another story for a different day. So, if this is you, you might notice things like you feel like you have to do things or no one else will. That's a common one that I saw. It was like, well, I have to do this because no one else will, and it'll bother me if I don't. Right? Or maybe you believe like it's just easier and more efficient if I just do it myself. Or maybe you don't want people to be mad at or reject you for saying no. Or perhaps you're concerned about being seen as a selfish bitch for putting yourself first. On some level, like maybe subconsciously, you might say yes so that people see you as helpful and maybe give you more grace around your ADHD moments when they pop up. And this one I see a lot in trauma survivors where you feel like your kids need you 100% of the time and you want them to have happy, stress-free childhoods, maybe making up for your own negative growing up experiences. Maybe you believe you are supposed to be of service or sacrifice what you want for the greater good to be a good person. Is any of that resonating? If so, this is just another layer of some of the invisible obstacles you may be experiencing another layer of that inner work to unpack to be able to focus on the work you need to do for your business, including first and foremost, caring for yourself. Because here's the thing, the worst business model ever is to have your business be last place. Don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to tell you how to prioritize your life. y- Loved ones are important. Your own self care is important. And somewhere towards the top of the list, if you're an entrepreneur, your business has to be important. You get to decide where it is. But I'm going to tell you, continuing to stay stuck in those old beliefs that everyone comes before you is not going to work. And so it's time to work with some of those stuck beliefs. Check out the description for how you can work with me if you're interested in learning more.